Good afternoon, my lovely planners. How are you guys? I hope you all are enjoying your Christmas season, complimentary season. I hope you all are getting ready for all this lovely eating that's going to happen just now. Because we know a lot of you all will be doing a lot of eating. Hi. So let me so this evening we are having an awesome guest. Right, this evening we are having an awesome guest because we know the year is coming to the end. We are fast approaching, but most of us as entrepreneurs and individuals don't take advantage during this time of the year to make sure all your financial stuff at what you would call at this top on top. If you sit down and you review everything, especially as you know the year ending, especially as you know the year ending, if you review your financials and those important stuff. So today episode is very dear to me. Why? Because as what you call a financial educator, we like to teach people the importance of checking their finances, especially now when the year ends, to take advantage to make sure they max out, or they can max out so so that they will reduce their taxes. Yes, and we don't. I will say it so many times. Chadians just don't do that. Don't think it's important. Nah, I gonna need that for next year. So this topic, as I said, is very near and dear to me, and I hope the information that will be shared with you today will be very much so, and you can be able to share it with the same knowledge with your family and friends. So as our lovely guest gets herself up and ready to grace us, let me give you a little about her. Her name is Amanda, really. She is also a financial person as well. She does a lot of information, helps a lot of entrepreneurs and individuals get their finances on a gear, but more on the insurance side. So that is why it is so near and dear to me, because when I go and I meet, just say people on a who, whether you are entrepreneur or not, and I ask them certain questions. Do you have a pension? Do you have this? It's like, she asked me that for that to do with accounts. That's not important. I don't want to hear that. Then people just teach me money. That's the first word they just say, come on, then people just teach me money. That money, making money. Those are the first words I always hear, and they don't realize that having some of these insurance actually help you reduce your taxes. They don't ever realize. Taking pensions, the first part of the stuff, which is all about pension, you also would even take advantage of that, and you'll be watching like, you don't need no pension. They're not important.
Yeah,
So, Amanda, jump in and tell you that I lied. So let us now have our lovely Miss Amanda, really. And before I forget, before we even start, first thing first, I'm publicly thanking Amanda, because during this entire pandemic, yes, I'm going to give one a little backstory. I met Amanda what was the first thing? Something I can't remember how we met. Somewhere on Instagram. Let me just say it on Instagram, because that's where I meet a lot of you all during this whole pandemic. Yeah. And she just started to talk to me, and she's like, she messaged me, I think I was around July. Letitia, why don't you do Starbucks Money Talks? It's like, I don't think nobody will think that one now. People head hot at them. And she said, watch this. And she sent me a video. I was like, I could really do this. But besides all that madness, I first want to publicly thank Amanda for really pushing me to start back this whole money talk, because really and truly, this was born because of my youngest. He made me start this, but it was Money Talks for Teens. And Amanda now make me started but take it with a switch now to use it to help other entrepreneurs find other entrepreneurs. So it's not just about me just always coming and talk about money. I am also introducing other entrepreneurs and helping them boost their business. So again, supporting another form of fashion, right? So let Amanda take over the floor. I think I talk enough. So Amanda can have the whole story now. So let her introduce herself and tell everybody who you are, what you do, and why you really start this whole dramas of moving the shit that you had, right?
Right.
Because that's very great.
All right. Well, I'll introduce myself. My name is and I'm known as the Finance Mom. You all are hearing me, right?
I am hearing you. Everybody here and say yes, say you. Shake a hand, shake a foot.
Hi. All right. I've seen a little hand there. So I generally started my business because there are persons coming out of school, coming out of university in particular, with no kind of financial management knowledge. And I think in Trinidad, there is opportunity where a lot of young people needs to be taught the importance of simply budgeting,
Yeah.
making just that little simple list of what you need to get for the and put aside the money that you have to spend towards those things. I mean, how many people living paycheck to paycheck, and the money come in and zoot, it gone back up.
True, true.
So
So true.
so many people I spoke to, they're like, "What's a budget? How to?" Well, I just spend 1,000 I just spend about $500.
And they don't know how they just be hurting your heart when they tell you them things, eh?
And they're not even sitting down to say, well, all right, I'm going to spend this amount in groceries. Because how much people walking in the massive, they go on the club, they come out with bread, cheese, ham,
And they went for one thing.
they're going twice.
So good. Let me don't talk about that.
As their heads are pennywise, are going and pick up
One thing.
one hair, my hair, two, and the conditioner. And then when they come out, the basket heavy, and they're for what this later.
So true. So true.
So what I tell my clients, make a budget. Keep that budget in your head. $200 you're going to spend. $200 is what you need to spend inside a Pennywise. Five, not six. Six is $200.
True. And it's sometimes, as you rightly said, sometimes it'll be so hard because when you walk inside, oh God, and you know what does make it worse? When one of the person I said, hey, you need this, is like, do I really need that? Yeah, just study ahead. And is that a need or is that what? Or is it just greed? Nah, meaning that's where I come from. And to me, that's what I do for myself. When I walk in and they love to bombard you, I say, no, I don't need that. I'm sure they must be really saying, there's one of beaching. But I just literally telling them, no, I don't need that. I didn't come for that today. I just want you like.
And what also could help is making a list. So you make a list of what you need at home. And as I say, need, not what you want, what you need. What you want, you could leave till later on and budget for that.
Correct.
Because then you're going to be spending money you didn't cater for.
Correct. And I mean, no, and I mean, all it normally ball is the woman, but the men do the same thing. It's not women, right? Just him.
Say, well, I just want to go for one thing and come back out. That's all.
That's not true. I mean, you see, as people in the lanes doing the work, yeah, because when they could actually get you to pick up what you wasn't intended to pick up, they do their work, right? They get paid for what they did, right? So you have to be determined and have that willpower to know, okay, as you rightly say, I only had $200 for Pennywise, I only spent $200. Nothing more, nothing less. And to me now, taking advantage of the online thing, so you're not going to be bombarded by the person when they start having the lane ball. You need this, you need that, buy everything. So you get away from it. And you stick to your budget.
Yes, and especially you see how all those pop-up markets happening.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to go in and pick up all over. So my advice is go in again with a budget. You go in with $200 and you don't spend. shop around. So you walk around all the booths and whatever.
Correct.
Gifts, and then you budget how you're going to spend. Don't stop by
Correct.
what you start to spend because they're going to have other places that you
Correct.
might up, or you could get a better bargain by somebody.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. Correct. That is so true. I mastered do that, and only this weekend I went C3 first out market, and
Right.
I checked the whole thing. All right, I see what I want. I'm spending my money here, and I actually went with my budget. All right, I'm only spending this amount of money, and whatever I buy, so it's true. I do it for my own self. So all I can see, I don't just preach it, I actually do it for myself, and I make sure for it. Now, me buying that. Let me go Macon, and I will tell my son, let's go around. See what else we seeing. Or let go on that lane, and I will go on the next lane, and we will come back at the bottom and then decide, okay, what you see, what you see, what you want. So at least you know you go with a game plan and you make sure you execute it.
That's the thing. You have to go with that game plan. Otherwise, if it just go on, you end up spending. And Christmas time, I know Trinis love it. I don't know where to find anymore, but they
just find it.
to
They
spend.
just find it. They just find it.
By January, everybody bawling. Oh God, how long?
This is slowest. Oh, as you mentioned that major topic, which is something that I wanted to discuss with you. You know how this is the year, this is the time of the month where you will normally get paid early.
Yes, so this
I applaud all your trainees, even the foreigners that might be listening. Don't use this month money and spend it out now, because you remember the next time you're getting is quite next month, the 20, whatever, quite next month. So you see that big gap by not the second, by the first week of January, but God boy, how much more days before payday? No. You have to pretend me that pay coming mean have no money. Put that away. Wherever I have remaining is all I have. I have to last until the month before you start using it. Those are simple little tricks, as she rightly say, the importance of a budget, which we know we don't like to listen to, yeah? Right, the 25th, 20 somebody. Somebody does get 25th, somebody does get the 28th. Some people will go on straight until the 31st. Some will get paid early, might have gotten paid early last week.
yes, and they quit the ball when how much years in January till I
Correct. Correct. They were quick to ball how much years ago.
yeah. Yes, how much years again? Oh, like this time and coming soon enough. How much cricks and cheese I had to eat?
So true. And not only the cricks and cheese, they might be just running on butter and bread. And the cheese might be too expensive to buy. They might buy butter.
Able to afford the juice anymore. It's water and sugar. They mix it.
You know. And then they were talking about January real slow, boy. Why it's slow? Because you did not budget from December, so you was prepared for January. That's the importance of budgeting. Don't worry, the year ain't gonna be hot. This is the year in review. That is why it's important that you should be on right now. All who are here, please make sure and send people this link so they will be aware and get some nice juices, because we're going to be sharing some lovely tips. So, one important tip that we want to encourage you guys about is taking advantage of the pension allowance, especially at the end of the year. You know, so many of you all are not even aware how much you can claim when you have a pension at the end of the year. You don't even know that reduces your taxes, and you all watch me like, oh, you have a pension, you have an annuity, and you watch me like, what are you talking about? I don't need that. Well, how do I help my taxes? Can I help him? That doing nothing. I never want to retire now. I never wait later. So let Amanda tell you how that does help now, because all they just feel like just be lying.
So, you probably heard either the terms annuity, pension is the same thing, right? It's the same type of plan. And what that plan does is it's to reduce your taxes over the year. So you know when you get your little T4 slip from your company and you're ready to file taxes. Now we all know the government taxable allowance is 72,000 for the year. Next year it's supposed to increase to 84,000, which is 7.
Correct.
And above, right? Now, if you have any activity plan, Your annuity plan helps to save towards your retirement. And the government allows you to use this plan when you're claiming back on your taxes. Right? And your maximum allow limit is $50,000. So what
Right.
$50,000 could also be minus from your actual income for the year, and then that difference will be taxed. So
Correct.
when you're ready to file for your taxes next year, you will have still being able to save for your retirement.
But yet still they still don't listen to that basic. You see how much money they can be saving? Imagine, look at that big gap. You have practically what? That's how much, about 150 in total?
Maybe more than that.
Yeah.
About that. Or close thereof. Because 70 plus 50, yeah, about 150, something around there, right? But
Yes.
no, when they go to the when they go to the 80, it will be close to 150. Anyway,
One
forget the maths. Today is not about making maths. So somewhere around there, a little bit wrong. But that's the importance of really putting in that.
is $122,000. That could be tax free for the entire year.
Correct, correct.
Yes. So, and a lot of people are like, oh God, I'm fed up paying taxes. There's so much money I paid in taxes, and what you're seeing from it. So you could start your own pension plan that can pay you out at retirement and still save on taxes. So when you file and pay taxes next year with your little TD4, you just get your annual annuity statement, and you also submit that.
Correct. So, like for instance, a good question, like most people will always ask, what's the lowest pension you can really start as, whether you are a startup business or even a individual who now gonna start, let's just say, and now start a job. What is the lowest value you can start to even think about when we start a pension? What's the lowest figure?
The lowest you can submit into the pension is $200 a month. So as low as
Okay. See, so you don't have no excuses. Again, the importance of budget towards it, right? So even if you can't start now, budget towards it so that you know, okay, at the end of the month, all right, I want to put aside this for my pension. So you put it aside early. So it's not going to be hard, and you get things in place. So you see, come on, I'm making life easy for somebody else, so they doesn't listen. You know what, I don't listen.
life is all about, you must have some kind of goals you want to meet when you retire, because let's be real. How much is government pension? 3,500, right?
It's not much. It's not much. Anyhow, it's
It's
not much.
500. So how you in your old age at 65 or 60, depending on if they increase the age. I don't know what's going on with them next year. They say they may increase it, I don't know, right? But think about that point in time with the cost of living. How
True.
you survive on $3,500 a month?
True, and it's true when you're taking consideration the cost of living. Every year something going up. How are you going to survive now compared to later on? It would never be the same. So you really have to take all of it into consideration as well.
Especially if you have medication to buy, or if you might have some stuff coming up.
I mean, no more medication will be expensive.
You understand? Even imagine you still renting at that point in time. How are you going to do that?
Oh God, look, you one on the extreme. So you see, that's the importance of planning. That's why when you're there, you will call budget, or you want to pull out all your hair and think I go in mad, but budget is important. You must plan your money. Planning your money is budgeted. Simple. Nothing hard.
I mean, it's very important from now, don't matter your age, you can start as even as young as teaching your children, how to budget, how to save. When they go, you teach them about money, you give them an allowance, so they understand the value of money as well. Because, some children, mommy, I just want a snack, but understand the worth of the snack and the value of that hard-earned money you get to give You understand?
Correct.
Children as well from
Correct.
how to save. I remember I used to have piggy banks, and my sister, she used to say, where you getting all this money? I saving all my money I get in for a long.
True. I can testify for that. I was a master of that. We, as children, as three of us, I have mentioned it many times to you guys, the three of us. So it's
Yes,
myself, my sister, my brother. My brother was always the one to hold his money. I mean, me and my sister used to hold our money, but he was the holder of the money. When you say, "Mommy, not the money," and to see now as being a parent, my I have two boys, and my youngest is just like, so we work with no money. No, me have no money. It's like, but you got money. So wait a minute. Because that boy was kind of like, now my money is to put away to do something. What you want to do with your money? I don't know yet.
yes,
So as small as he was, even back then, now is even worse. Go and ask him to pick up his money, and the child will have money. And want something. Now, mommy, you buy it for me now. But I say you want money.
yeah,
So, but it's true. It is so true to put that value in them as that early. And that was one of the reasons why also Amanda reached out for me, because she saw my content about that, teaching children the importance of money and that. And yeah, the whole thing just went off. So we have to look for little things people come on soon for it. Don't worry. We have little tricks for the children. I just give only a little taste of what kind.
yes, yes.
So like a question that I know some clients ask me: can
Mhm.
you start a pension plan for your child, even though they are not working anywhere, as let's say as young as 3, 4 years? Can you start a plan that early for them?
Yes, you have to be the owner of the plan.
Right. Correct. And of course, you will have to have, in that case, once the parent is the guardian, will you have to have somebody else? So in case of something, again, I just always encourage you guys. If something happened to mommy or daddy, they always have a guardian to do that. Or do they have all that in place? They must put all that in place before they sign up everything.
Yes,
Perfect. You see, I don't be telling all lies. I don't be lying, and I tell the truth.
yes, and that is very important what you say, because some persons think they're here forever, and unfortunately, things happen, unforeseen things happen, and
Correct.
a lot of children have been had to be left in the care of a guardian, and parents didn't think about who that guardian would be. So, as a parent, that's very important to think, if something happened to me or my husband, who is going to take care and who is going to be that responsible guardian? And you have
Correct.
somebody who you think is very responsible. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want them to run off with your money and leave your child behind.
True. True, because you as a parent want to put things in place beforehand. So you want to make sure that, as Amanda rightly said, you're putting your child financials and somebody who you know for sure will not squander the money and will definitely leave it for the benefit of the child. So you're not just picking, oh, because this is my friend, I will pick her. No, no, no. You have to study all of that. Just like, as I always tell clients, when you open up a business where there's a partnership or limited liability, you make sure your partner is somebody you can trust. Because you want to go in business with somebody and they not on the same page as you, that making sense.
Exactly. And that's why a lot of businesses fail, because they're not on the same page. That's true.
Correct.
That's very, very,
Correct. See? So everything as in life is always intertwined, no matter how you take it, whether it's for business or personal, there's some way, some form, the same information intertwined somewhere along the way. Am I not right, Amanda?
yes, yes, yes. Of course, it can.
Correct. It's just like when I tell entrepreneurs the importance of, even especially as they start their own business, to have a pension. So which one, because I know it works both ways in terms of reducing of the taxes. So when you see a client, will you always encourage them to do the pension through the business, or do the pension as per the self, the individual?
Well, it all depends because that's two different types of pension plans. So you could do one where it's individual or business, right? So the business could benefit on the tax, getting a tax break, as well as you benefited. Now, I do know there's so many entrepreneurs that don't have the IR numbers because their business is sometimes not registered as yet,
Correct.
So there are methods of saving that way through a pension plan, but then that would not, if you don't have a registered BIR number, then you wouldn't be able to claim on any taxes because obviously a business not paying taxes, right?
Correct.
I am aware that there are businesses like that. So you could
Correct.
save towards your pension, right? Even though your business is not registered as yet, right? And you don't want to file because you don't want to file for taxes as yet. But I know filing for taxes is very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for those who now starting up like over the whole COVID period and they decide, okay, well, I'm good at making cookies and cakes, I'm going to start a little something small for people like those, right? They didn't reach to the whole registration and everything part. You could still start a pension now, right? Once you have a BIR number, then you get registered and then you can actually do your own individual or you could do based on company as well. So there are two different, as I stated, two different types of pension. There's the business and there is the individual.
So you see again, and a very important point I always say, it's important to have a BR number when you see it. So I don't be lying. I don't be lying. So it's not just for your business and to do your own taxes. It also helps for your pension. So I don't lie.
Yes.
Just showing all you that I don't tell lies. Amanda just said it didn't come on my mouth. Amanda said, right. Because they don't like to believe these important things. And to me, and now with, I will say, with all these changes now, especially with COVID, they are insisting social, especially sole traders and even partnership, because they know long time some people would register for a partnership, don't go and get a BR number, and then they want to know why they, well, they have to go get a BR number too. It's not you the two people can't file, they have to have one for the partnership. And it's like, I didn't know that. Yes, these are things. I mean, it's not things that you hear on a regular basis because there's no data nowhere for you to see. But once you see, like myself, I know a lot of other accountants do it, but they would tell you these things. But again, Trinidad have a tendency they hear sometimes and they don't hear things. And then they will watch it like, I didn't know that. Yeah, but they have enough data outside there, or they could ask a question. They go get bite.
Yeah. But some you just have a way go through 1 year and come out the next same way it passed. Yeah.
True. True, that is so true. That is so true. They clean forget and he was like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So,
Yeah.
oh, another question that I know that entrepreneurs always ask, individuals as well. Does pension has to have a saving aspect or is not something that is necessary? It could just be purely the pension by itself.
Yeah, it could be purely the pension by itself. I now seeing Cassia saying, they don't know
Yes,
the
it's
right
true. Yes,
question.
don't know the right questions to ask, but there's data still there, even if you're unsure. I have to pay pension, I have to pay taxes. Ask a question.
Yeah.
You must get both.
To be on the accounting side and being able to register businesses as well, you would have all that information on your page and your website.
Yes, that is true, Cassie, and I have so much it, and sometimes I still don't even watch it. So I don't know what else to do.
Well,
That's a true point, and I have a lot of those. And sometimes they really and truly don't pay attention. They really and truly don't pay attention. So as I say, sometimes it's just absent-mindedness of an individual, and it's what they want to listen. So it's up to them.
Yeah. I mean,
The bottom line
I'm
is up to
pretty
them how much they
sure,
want to
as I
teach you.
said, a lot.
Oh yes, another question I wanted to find out. If you want to move your pension that might have been in a company, been a calling a company for a long time, and you want to move it to another company. What I know they normally some of them will tell you there are certain criteria or fees you may have to pay if you do that move. Is that something wise for someone to do, especially if they find their particular insurance is not doing well what they quote unquote promise when they go on their check back? You know, so some of them will give you printout and they want to check back to see, but I reach here, whatever, and my money not that value. What it's supposed to be. So, you know, as I always tell them, remember this printout is just a projection of what's supposed to happen. You can never tell how the market will be. So it's not a matter of jumping from this insurance agent to that insurance because this insurance, your hair is better or that one, you like this agent across here is not like that. So what is your intake and things like that? Have ever clients ask you something like that?
So there are now, if a company has a pension plan, right? What happens is the agents will come in and do a group pension plan for the workers. So most times the company could be the actual owners of that pension plan. So it depends on the style of the pension plan,
Okay.
right? So they have pension plans where the companies only contribute, the workers don't contribute anything. And then they have the ones where the employees may be asked to contribute a certain percentage, and then the company contributes a percentage. Now, what you'd have to find out from the employer, because it depends on the contractual arrangement they made with the insurance company, is if the individual owns the pension plan. Because if the individual does not own the pension plan, they can't leave the company with that pension plan. That pension plan will have in there, and then you'll have to wait until retirement age to actually benefit from that plan.
So it come like they will lose the money then.
Well, it comes like if the money will more or less be a little stagnant because they would leave that job, another job. There are plans that would allow you that if the company allows you the individual, where you can take it to another company and the company can take up the ownership for that plan. So there are plans like that as well.
Okay. Okay. That's it.
Depends on the company and that contractual arrangement they made with the insurance company for the pension plan for the group.
Okay. So like for instance, if entrepreneur wants to open up a pension plan, but it's just two people in the business, can you open up a pension plan like that, or it has to be a certain amount of people to be able to open a pension plan through the business?
No, they could. They could definitely open up a pension plan for them.
Okay. I know sometimes that's a question you know we ask, and I was like, you know the tips. So I'm lying, only here from Amanda. So only can say that I lie. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions about pension or pension for your children, anything along that line before we go to our next exciting part of the topic?
Not seen anything yet.
I see nobody saying nothing. Yes, because yeah, it's so true. It's hard to really bridge that gap, and sometimes it'll be a little frustrating. But I mean, I know repetition is the best thing to help with that. But then is the who hear and who listen. That's the only thing. But repetition is the best. That's the most you can do. Just keep repeating yourself over and over and over. Or they hear me, or they hear me, or they feeling me. That's all we can do. And see how much of time they really take in consideration what is in.
Yes, exactly. I
Correct.
mean, is out there, putting that content out on your page helps as well. You know, so I think now too, because of everything becoming online now, people are now open to looking at that information. Before they weren't really searching online really much for anything, but everybody's like, let me see if I find this thing online or any business service online, you know? Everybody was more about, well, let me just walk about town or walk about to ask somebody I know. But I think people are now more active in that online atmosphere, and a lot of content is coming out from persons being home and online now, like a lot of bloggers talking. So
True, that is true. So, like, since nobody have no questions, so the next part of the topic was about entrepreneurs,
right.
especially that we enter into this lovely experience called the pandemic. We know majority of entrepreneurs started to work from home. Unlike people like myself who was already accustomed, and I know Cassie was accustomed, we were accustomed with the virtual life, working
Yeah,
from home, you always saying, oh what, you want these Zoom meetings? We don't need them things. We're not ready for that. Where's your building? I have no building. My
yeah,
building is in the house. We talking something. Those are the kind of questions when I tried my best to push this whole virtual way of life. Nobody I'm not ready for that. So you wasn't ready for that, but I was already doing it beforehand.
yeah,
So when this whole pandemic happened, people were now going to see how they were flipped when certain of entrepreneurs were already flipped and was already on that side. So let's take a solution. Insurance now, when you have your business at home. Yes, this is the sweet part of the conversation. Because when you're running a business from home, your insurance should be adjusted for that. Am I not right, Amanda?
yes,
Right. Because
yes,
now the home is no longer just a home alone, it's a home slash a office. Even
exactly.
though people may not be coming to the office, you still have to take it into consideration. Am I right?
Yes,
You see, I don't be lying to all, I don't be lying.
yes, because now you're operating a business through your home, and now you would also have, if like say for example, if you're running an online clothing store and you have clothing here, if somebody was to come in and, like God forbid, rob and steal, and they got with all your clothes, that's your whole business gone there. And what they come,
Correct.
you're crying in the morning because all the things,
Correct.
and you have no insurance to cover that.
Correct. Correct. So, like for instance, I know the importance of you have to have the fire and parameters. Definitely one for sure, especially if you're running a business from home. But you will need public liability, but you still need partner if nobody not coming to your establishment.
No, if nobody is coming at home, you would not need any public liability.
But
But
for
you
sure, the fire and parallel definitely.
a business at home as well as your home being your house.
Correct. Okay, good, good. See, so I was
The
right.
things that could be besides, the basic fire. What if a pipe bursts in your house and then flood out everything and things get damaged? Because we all know sometimes a pipe could burst, unfortunately. So these are the different things that could be actually covered. So if you're running your business from home, there's things like covering your contents, the contents inside. So if anything happen, that you will be replaced, because there is just your house insurance, where you're covering the house alone and nothing inside. But then there's also something called contents. So you
Okay,
actually cover the contents of your business and whatever else you have in your home.
okay. All right. So you see, all that is important, very important. So you see, you must have everything in place, so you
Mhm.
know how to account for everything.
Yeah, even persons, let's say if you're running let's say an audio visual camera for business, and your equipment is usually at home, and then sometimes you might go out on the road to shoot and stuff. You could actually cover those type of contents, like your camera
Right.
stops and things, just in case, God forbid, you somebody.
You see, and again, that's why I was always asking. So, to me, you fix that, you have home, and what you want that for? You see, that is the importance. You see, because now you can use that now, same information now to help with your insurance, because now they will be able to know your value of each item, whether it's your computer, your printer, your table,
what are all these things? Because remember, these things have value. It helps you bring in the money, and also if something drastic in happen, God forbid, we're not wishing it on nobody. Where there's fire, where there's a flood, where there's a hurricane, you never get that yet. But these kind of things, it can happen. Natural disasters can happen. So at least the insurance will help you be able to recover these things. So you see, I don't lie.
Yes,
Just saying, I
do
don't
it.
lie.
Oh, you're not lying at all.
I don't lie. I'm telling them the truth, and they just don't like to listen to it.
Yes,
So we have to bring experts so they can explain it so they'll know I'm not lying, right? So, like for instance, I'll be talking about this fantastic thing. I'm calling it fantastic because it makes no sense crying no more. This whole pandemic. We know during this pandemic, a lot of people would have lost this, especially when we were home and we were told to stay home. It
yeah.
wasn't just home for
But
home. He
that's
was told to stay home, right? So we know for sure during that period, most of us really and truly didn't have income. Who went and get grants or got the opportunity to get grants, got a little something. Who didn't get it, didn't get. But in a situation like that, God forbid it does not be like that again. But say for some reason, an unforeseen incident happen, whether it's the pandemic, whether you lose a limb, something that we have no control of. Is there something like that that can cover a startup business or entrepreneur in those times of need? Do you have a package or something along that line that can assist them? Because we can't help what happen in life. Life just throw winds at us and we just have to learn to adjust and wind with the wind and then go again, right?
that's so true. So much of us had to learn to adapt in this whole COVID period, and overnight, they didn't even give you a week. It's literally overnight.
Correct, correct. It just slap you one lash and you have also learn to get up one time. You know, like when you go maracas and you see the wave coming, like you one hit so and you have to get back up and you're feeling like a roll.
And that way,
So we know life does do us that. I mean, I have to throw for the life jacket. Hello, I'm away.
yes, yes. So we do have something called an income protector. And through the income protector, it will protect you against like any accidents or dismemberments, as you say, loss of limb or anything, or if you're actually really sick and you can't go back out to work for a period of time. So it is a plan. I mean, it's based on the person's budget, how you could build the plan itself, right? So this actually protects you in the event of, some persons may have had a surgery and they may not have been able to go back out to work for more than, let's say, about 2-3 months. They're trying to recover from the surgery. All you going, if you apply to the government, they will give you about, I think, 2 payment back. But then what happens to your income? You will have to now say, well, I will have to forego my income from my job until I get better. And they will just
Correct.
find temporarily to replace you until you could come back. But then that's some protector could kick in and you would be able to regain. So you would state what is the income you would want to regain from that. Now, let's say if you got sick as well from COVID-19, right? That would have helped as well because, COVID-19 put people down for at least 3 weeks, 3 weeks or more, I would say, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that also helps in that aspect. But in terms of, let's say, losing a job, if you lose a job, that's when you have to do something called emergency fund saving. And your fund saving should have at least 6 months of your salary saved up.
I didn't say it all. Yeah, she said it well. Just say it. Just say it.
Yes. So at least 6 months of your salary should be saved. So in the event of any pandemic or anything happening, you have that money to rally you out. I am sure
Correct.
a lot of people saying their savings helped them a lot during this pandemic.
Correct. 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 And that is so true. And now I was watching that kind of the guy, but this guy has only said on once.
And he was saying no, he believe after this whole episode of this pandemic, as he's called it, he said, I don't believe there's no 6 months, no more. No. I believe we should have at least a 12 months and even at 18 months. So my goodness. I said, no, you're going drastic. He said, and he was explaining to the announcer, no, I really believe we have to have at least 3 different types. We have to have the 6 months, we have to have a 12 months, and we have to have a 18 months because it could never tell. Because this pandemic showed me that 6 months not cutting it because that 6 months can happen. I run through that money and know what's going to happen for me for the next 6 months. So best I prepare for myself for the. I said, my goodness, I didn't even look at it in that point of view. And when he said it's like, okay, that makes logical sense, because the pandemic happened. We was very on a slow, and then I know everybody went through it. We all went through it. Everybody business slowed down.
Yes.
So that 12 months makes sense to prepare yourself for in case something like this. I mean, we're not wishing this, and I keep saying it, we're not wishing this happen again. But in case anything like that ever happen, we have something, I don't know if anyone of you sit down and watch these people who does these preppers. Anybody sit down and watch these preppers who will prep for things for not all kind of weird disaster. They have room full of food that they can feed themselves for years. I mean, it's come just like that same concept. I was like, wait, okay. And he mentioned that as well. They literally prepare themselves for any sort of natural disaster. They have what you call like a basement full of food, canned food, all kind of things. Like Jesus. And if you see the storage capacity they will put aside, I say if only people will use that same behavior for their money, we will have millionaires. I'm sure of that. Do you agree with me, Amanda?
Yes, exactly. And they're saying doomsday preppers.
You're right. That is the name. I just can't remember. I know he said it today. I was like, okay, yes, that
Yes,
made sense.
exactly. I mean, I'm not telling you to go and buy out Price Smart all the toilet.
Correct. But at least put things in place. Plan. We want all it a plan. That's all we want you to do. Plan and put that budget in place so you have everything set up so you don't be, as we will normally see, caught with your pants down. So you're literally prepared. We want you to be prepared, literally prepared. No pants down behavior. No. You want to make sure you're ready. So any instant, anything can happen because life happens, madness can happen. I mean, I'm not wishing it on you. You go down the road and something happened and you didn't prepare for it because you didn't know. You don't expect these things. It's not something you expect.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So it's something we don't plan for, and that's what an emergency savings works as well. Is for things that you don't plan for. Any emergency you run into, your car get a flat tire. You don't plan for that. Your car going. I mean, Trinidad have one pothole, so you go in any pothole one day and come out.
true.
And
We don't plan for it, and you have to plan for these things. These are important things to plan for. We, we,
yeah,
we, we cannot predict it, so let's plan for it. Let's make sure we have things in place. So when it happens, that I didn't think of that, No, you're done already prepping. So no matter how it throw itself, you're still covered. And which
yes,
is important. You need to be covered. That is the bottom line, always being covered. So like another thing that I know entrepreneurs always ask a health plan, especially for sole traders, partnership. Sometimes the LLC too, especially if they in-house, it's just themselves and maybe the other director and they really don't have no staff.
mm-hmm.
How do they go about securing some sort of health insurance? Because well, my doctors are not cheap, right? We know that.
Yes,
They just want to go to the eye. You just go to doctor. You can tell me what's wrong with my eye hair, and you have to pay like just for him to tell you that you have to pay a price, and then you're gonna pay the next price. I mean, I'm not bad talking to the doctor, so they work hard to get all their qualifications, but we have to make sure we be able to set ourselves in such a way that okay, I plan my money for when I need to go by the doctor, whether it's doctor, the dentist, whatever specialist, it at least you have a plan, so you know okay, I can cover myself. So tell us what insurance we have, if any, in place for a person who now start, who just have maybe just two members. I always tell them it don't make no sense. If you have two members to one, go for a whole pension plan because you will be feeling like all the money just being sucked out, and we want to encourage you to back a little more. So tell me first, the right thing and what they can hear first.
So how it works, the health plan usually will cover 80% of the fees that you incur. But you have to obviously be mindful. There are limits that they set on the health plan. So they'll tell you how much you could actually spend by the doctor. Because then sometimes they say, but I spend by and get back this amount. So you have a maximum allowable that you could actually claim. So that's something you need to take into account, right? If you max out your amount, then all the claims stop. But generally, the health insurance will cover going by the doctor, going to check your eyes, and going to the dentist. So they'll tell you, if you're going to clean your teeth, 80% of that will be covered. So you really also have to read those details, because sometimes somebody will come back and say, well, I thought only covering this, but some health insurance plans do not cover certain things. And if you're coming anytime with a pre-existing condition, that may be covered as well, right? It all depends on the insurance company. Now, the most affordable health insurance plans are through credit unions. And the reason for this is because the credit unions do a group rating. So they have so many people in the credit union that they are able to get it to a manageable premium for the month. So if you come to an insurance company, usually they will tell you have to pay either a semi-annual or annual fee.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go through the credit union, you could actually pay a monthly fee.
And usually just be smaller. See why it's important to go with the credit union. They just want to know if I'm mad.
Yes.
And October was credit union month.
Yes, so the credit union, you can save your money, get some nice interest from the credit union, as well as join the health plan through there.
Right. So you see, you're getting a twofold from using the credit union, which we always encourage you to have a credit union account. You see, more than one reason.
Yes.
They don't listen. But that's all right. We teach it all here.
Yes.
We love to teach you. We love to teach you. And that is why we impart the knowledge so you will get and start using it. So let's really and truly go into 2021 a little more, what you call it, seasoned, as you would, a little more knowledge for everybody.
Right foot.
Correct. So, all right, as we talk about health and we talk about the importance of, as you initially say, pre-existing medical issues, what about critical illness? Should you, with those health plans, have critical illness, or you should have another insurance that will cover that critical illness?
So usually, health plans will have a small amount of critical illness. You have to, as I said, you have to see what's on the plan listed. So
Okay.
sometimes they may or may not have the critical illness. So if they have the critical illness, it might be about a 50,000 or 25,000, somewhere there.
Okay.
But we all know cancer, which is a major critical illness, is not no $25,000.
Right.
That alone is about $180,000.
Okay.
And that's the first visit, and then when they say, okay, well, you need to do chemotherapy, and then the bills start to rack up. You need home care. You need somebody to help you take care of your home. Where you getting the money from?
True.
So I always tell people cancer is one of the number one. I mean, I could tell you this year alone, I see about 4 fundraisers for people with cancer.
Sure. So you see now, that is why it's important to make sure your health is really a wealth, It's really a wealth.
Yeah.
It is really and truly a wealth.
And you honestly don't know when anything could happen to you.
Correct.
Going good, healthy as can be, and then boom, I get him up. You get the pain, doctor, go and do MRI. And
Correct.
they may see some cancer cells. What? How that come there?
The silent killer, the big Steve, the silent killer. It
Yes.
lurking all the time, then you know it there.
Mm-hmm.
See? So we have to put that in place, really and truly. You guys have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff. Another important point that I know most of you all, and Amanda and I had a long discussion about this, the life insurance. We know what they like to go take out the life insurance and then use that to buy a house. And they already come and ask me some weird questions, and I'll be like, goodness, only doesn't listen to when the insurance agent don't call you. I can't understand. But I want Amanda to tell you all the importance of just having your life insurance alone and not adding on no other ones. And especially if you want to use it to buy as a collateral to buy land or even buy a house, the importance of that. So let her tell you all so they know that I did not lie. Just say it.
Well, the life insurance, as we know, right, is a insurance on your life, right?
Right.
So if anything happens to you, which is death, then it pays out a lump sum of money, right? So you could actually take your life insurance policy, sorry, when you go into the bank to aid you in getting a loan, right? The
Right.
bank they require you to have insurance on your mortgage. If
Right.
you die, they want the money in the pocket one time, which is
Correct.
what we call the life insurance policy, right? You give the bank that assignment of your life insurance policy. And what happens, right, is if you die and let's say you're owing $1 million on your mortgage, that's
Mhm.
what off, and the difference of the money will go towards your beneficiary.
Right. Okay. So like you say, as you
But
say that, so if for some reason you use the life insurance to put on your mortgage and there's no balance, because the purpose you already put on the life insurance was to be able to assist your family in case of your timely departure from this lovely earth. What, besides using, let us say they never pay NIS, so they can't even go and get that. They never work nowhere, so they can't even go social welfare to collect money, and they have nothing else. What other option do they have in terms of being able to have that money to cover for that burial service? Is there any such thing like that? And is there any insurances or other plans that they could put aside, especially as they use that life insurance towards their home?
yes, so you can take out one separate, and usually people take out something what we call term insurance to cover
Mm-hmm.
them. But you can actually take out your own individual insurance. And what that does is that's a separate insurance for your family exposure. So if you were to leave Earth, you know your family is dependent on your income, right? And
Right.
that's calculated. It's calculated on how much income your family will be dependent on you for X amount of years, especially if you have children, right? The children will want to go to university. So that
Okay.
is something that you would want to include in there as well.
Okay. Okay.
You will have bills. Your rent will still probably have to be paid, or the mortgage, or the
Mm-hmm.
internet, the cable bill, the food still had to buy, the groceries still have to buy, right? So those are things you will incorporate into your own personal life insurance. But as you
Okay.
say, the burial expenses, that is at least what, about at least 10,000, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So you would want to also incorporate that. You want to make sure, yes, your family will be grieving your death,
Correct.
but not in where they are in a financial distress, because you don't
Correct.
know how I going and bury John boy.
True.
One
True.
place to send me down some money to bury John and pay she back next year or something. No,
True.
you
True.
don't want your family in that position.
True. That is so true. That is so true. And some people don't even think of as simple as that. I know they don't say a chronic, but I don't do that already.
I've set all those things. My kids don't already know already what to do with me when I pass. They know that as they're both teenagers, they knew that since they were like, enough that they could understand because we had a long discussion about that. I tell them that don't advance. Mommy want this, this, and this. Don't deviate, don't do that. That's what mommy wants. I don't care what all you want to do for me. They don't say, Mommy, why are you trying to do these things now? You're not dying. But I say I just want you all to know so at least in your mind, you know, okay, this is mommy said this. And I suppose that might be a behavior for myself because my grandmother did us that. I must say, a teenager, when my grandmother tell us, she make us give us one long list, everything she wanted for her burial before she was even close to that. So
Yeah.
I suppose maybe it's that same behavior. But it's something important that you're supposed to have certain things in place so at least they themselves don't have to worry about that. As you rightly say, you don't want your loved ones to worry about that. As we're talking about loved ones, I am tired to talk to clients about it, especially when you have kids. And Amanda mentioned about university. We know education is very expensive. I'm going to lie, whether it is a doctor, a lawyer, to what my son wanted to do again. I can't remember the correct terminology, what you call it by the time, right? Whatever the course they want to do, you know it's going to cost you as a parent,
Yes.
which sometimes, I mean, I know people love to say this magic word, having children is a blessing. Yes, having children is a blessing. But if you don't plan your money for your children, how are they going to be a blessing to the world? So you have to do it. As you as the parent that bring them the world, you have to do it. You have to start. You have to give them the stepping stone to be able to do what they came here to do. Because I just always tell my children, well, they have whatever all they have planned to do, make sure they execute it and execute it well. I just always think that in their head. So we as parents have a very important job to make sure that we give our children that standing blood, that generational wealth to stand up before so they could have that first stepping stone and then they could fly and do whatever they want to do after or do whatever they were supposed to do. So as we are talking about that, what at what age or what age and then what plans do you have in place for parents who want to start a education plan? Does it have a savings aspect to it? Does it even can we even include a critical illness in it for the child itself? And how soon can it start? Could you start it as soon as the child is born, while they're still in your belly, asking all the questions,
Yes.
every possible thing?
So you can start now. The plan is, as they say, it's like a savings plan. So there are two types of plans, right? And then it just based on, for me, it's always based on the client and what their goals are for their children. So you can actually start saving from even before they're born or as they're born, depending on the type of the plan you decide to go with, right? So once they're born, there is a savings type plan, and you could actually save for things like a lot of people send their kids here to private school. So you could save that money for the tuition through that plan. You know, it's
Okay.
I think about private schools about $6,000 a term on average, right? So you
Books is up every term.
pardon,
And you know book fees, books is also go up every
uniform.
yes. And shoes. Don't forget the shoes. Just
And
go through shoes.
because you know by September they don't outgrow the uniform they wear last term. Over the
True.
June, August vacation is, Mommy, I want this. I'm hungry, and they're eating about 10 times.
And we can say that because both of us have boys, right? And you know that like they have a happy slap there. Oh my goodness! Like, oh, where that food does it go in?
But I don't know. I really don't know. So, yeah, start saving towards, I mean, and from what I've heard as well with Gate, the Gate funding is no longer like what it
Correct.
was before.
Correct.
You have to think about saving to send your children to even UE here, you know.
Correct.
different fees that they will incur, that you need to pay the application fees, and or
Mm-hmm.
they might need a laptop when they need to start.
Mm-hmm.
They have to take into consideration, right? You don't want to wait when it's time they reach 18. Well, how I going on fun on to
True.
little boy when you had a whole 18 years before that to plan for job.
True. True. It's so true. And as you rightly say, with this pandemic, it has showed you the importance of having as simple as a PC home or even a laptop home for you to went to the work. And
Yes,
these things that some people went to think it was something important, all right? All they have was the game, or they play the game, and that was it. It wasn't having a PC home for your child to do work was not something important you could have. You might have ended up having one. No, each child has to have one because most of them are in school, or all three of them are in school, so everybody have to have a device to use.
yes, and the thing is, everybody ran helter skelter looking for tablets, looking for laptops, and then it became so loud, and people started panicking because
Correct,
how my child
correct,
online school now?
correct. And you are right because initially when Price man bought out their first set of pieces when they said it was starting this homeschooling, my husband and myself went to Price. We just went to map to see where they have.
Right.
Man, the day after half the laptop that was only there, just you. When they said laptop, you see me, it just was gone. All the boxes. I said, did you just have a purchase? It
Yes,
was like that is because we had us to adjust to that. As simple as that. I mean, again, as I keep saying, this pandemic showed us okay, life can happen and we have to learn to adjust to it. And that was something that I know many parents did not even consider having the importance of having a laptop or a computer at home for the children. It
yes,
was not something that was important. They said they're going to school, they had their books, they had a bag, they had a uniform, their shoes, go to school.
yes,
A laptop was no, a computer wasn't something of importance.
yes,
And
exactly.
it's a planning, advanced planning. Yes, I will say I am definitely one of those girls who advanced planning. The
And
only thing I
it is,
had missing was just another monitor. That's the only thing we had missing. The only
right.
thing we had missing was another monitor. That was it.
Well, I had backups. I had laptop, I had iPad, I had desktop.
Well, you have to have the backup. You have to have the backup. The backup is important. It's very, very important. And as we see, this pandemic showed us, okay, it's not life like normal. We have to learn to adjust to the changes. We have to. There's
Yes,
no way. So, as a parent, you have to think about what your child will need for their education. You have to start putting that stepping stone in place. And as Amanda said, it's not hard. You have two options, not even one. You have two options to choose from. And as we
yes,
know, university fees always going up, so you have to think about all of that.
yes. Because I remember when I went to university, it would be about 20 something thousand Canadian a year. Now the same degree is about 40,000 a year. I was, whoa.
No, I know, it might even be more now. And depending on the type of thing they want to do, because my eldest want to do what sciences. I'm too confused, mommy, too, but we
Mm-hmm.
have to do what we have to do, and we do it.
And
You
that
have
is,
to do that in things.
well, mommy, I want to go away to study, and you, whoa.
Yes, that magic word does come up plenty, but mommy, I want to go here. We have to think about the accommodation, food. So you have more expenses than normal because when they're home, they can get eat and everything. So we have to think about accommodation.
A phone bill because they will want a phone.
Yes, and electricity and internet bill because the phone bill might be better fly, but the data and the internet. So
And
all that you have to consider.
thought they need to get around as well. So if they had a
Correct,
phone, it
correct.
might
So they are not spending money. You see, she just racking up the bill more.
get
But
I
this
thought,
as a parent,
you really and truly have to consider. And now, even worse, now, if they say they want to go overseas, what about if they decide to even go England? More money, because you know the pounds in cheap.
You understand?
And then you also take into consideration the cost of living, and you know, depending on where you go, the cost of living can be very expensive. You can't
And
assume.
but wait, you forget, and you're talking about all that. What about when you have to multiply our money today's girl?
Him study that.
Imagine that. 20,000 we money is not 20,000 never you know.
It's too different. The exchange rate, yes, correct. Correct. So
Yeah.
that is why it's important to really plan your money. Yes, as I initially say, we have some older heads who still love to say having a child is a blessing. Yes, it is, but you must plan for your child. You have to plan for them. You have to plan for their education because I know there are many people outside there that are still up to this day and age might still be paying student loan because they had no other choice. They had was to get the loan to be able to get their education. Yes, that is the life sometimes it happens like that, but you also have to take things in place as a parent that you have a stepping stone for your children,
Yes.
no
And
matter how small it is.
state student loan is a big thing. Every single person who came out of university, this probably take about 5 years to finish off that debt payment on our student.
Woo!
Yeah.
And you really have to think about that for truth.
You want to make sure, I mean, yes, your child could go out there and probably work because now a lot of the visas, these
Correct,
visas are coming with work permits. So yes, they might be able to work and still, manage their little expenses. But you want
correct,
to be able to help them with the big
correct, correct, correct. And that is true. As a parent, you always want to help your child. As
yeah,
big as I am, I ain't gonna lie, my mother will still help me. And sometimes me, you know what to do that, you know. She said, "Where is my daughter?" I said, "Oh, to do that." But I think, as you rightly say, as a parent, you will never stop being a parent. You'll always be you will always be their child, no matter what. They can be married, they can be wherever the hell you are. Here's my child first. Okay? So you will always be that behavior. Let me see what I can do for my child. I wonder if she want this. I wonder if he need this. You know, it's something like I think it's something like it's embedded in your soul. You can't get away from it.
yeah. And the thing is too, when you send them out there, you want to make sure they're prepared because you're not living in this
Correct.
then.
Correct.
So you want
Correct.
to make sure they have everything that could set them.
Correct.
They don't have to study so hard for their degree already, you know?
True. 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 They don't already have the stress just to deal with the peers alone. That's a whole
We
different.
will.
They had to deal with the peers first and then everything else. So
Yeah.
they themselves was just as stressful. I mean, some people when they usually say, being a child is not stressful, but it is. It is. Being a child now and comparing to when I was a child is two different stories. It's totally different. Totally different. And I'm sure by the time your little one get big, you will be a different story too. So you see?
That I don't even want to know now. By the time he's ready for university, it might be 2 points something and for the 4 years for me to send him to school.
True, true, true. We have to be so prepared. We have to be so prepared.
Yeah.
Do anybody have any questions? We talk and forget to even ask so they have any questions. I'll be so bad. Oh my goodness.
Well,
We have a long conversation.
um,
If you all have any questions, you all can ask us now. Um, what else I can tell you guys? Oh, where you can find Amanda. You can find Amanda on IG at the fitness. Yes, the fitness mom. She's on IG. She has a website. She has Facebook too. Yes. Anybody else? I forget. I can't remember the number.
so I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I have my own website. So you can find me on Instagram, same the Finance Mom. I'm the Finance Mom as well on Facebook. And my website is www.thefinancemomt.com.
So you all can answer any question. Amanda's an open book.
literally. She's very, what do
Peter,
you say?
me.
Yes, she's very open. She will always answer any question. Anything you have a question to, Amanda is answering.
Yes,
Anything, anything. She's very open and she's very willing to help, which is, I think that is one of the things that draw our personality together because we just so we just the first time we took almost 2 hours, some kind of thing like that.
just talking.
We talk all kind of things from mummies to every possible thing. We just went on a whole tantrum.
Yes.
I always say sometimes your spirit will just click with somebody. That was Amanda. The first time we talked, I was like it. I swear I know Amanda, especially my real good friend that I see was so long we were together.
Yes, yes.
And we really can truly click. We really click. And I am I am really and truly honored that she was even there to push me to actually start back this whole money talks. I am really and truly grateful for that. If it wasn't for her, you all would not be having this. That's why she had us to be the one that ended this one. So she will be the end of the last one for the year, and then we'll start afresh again for 2020. She really and truly had to be the one that ended because if it wasn't for her, you all, I wouldn't have started this back. Because in my head, I didn't think doing a money talks and especially at this magnitude because I always had a plan to do it. And then 3 days ago, back this man, I think you're ready for it. But this pandemic, thanks to Amanda pushing me further, I was like, all right, I'll try it and see. And I sat down, think about the content, what I will do, who I will go for, and the rest was history. So Amanda made history with this man. She was really the history
Oh,
pusher.
good.
So I thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're so much good content on your page as well in terms of accounting and business registration. A lot of people don't even know where to start with that. They don't
True.
know where to go, who to go to, what building they have to go to register their business. A lot of people need that type of
It's true.
knowledge.
True.
You all.
That is so true. And you're rightly saying just giving them that information is important, as Cassia earlier said, putting it outside there for them to see. And then they having that initial consultation with me, that 15 minutes consultation. We just talk, tell me what is your problem, and we work from there. As Amanda said, the first important thing is the budget. We need to plan the money. We have
Yes,
to give the direction. If we don't give the direction, we'll always be going into debt and we don't want to debt. That is why we started this 25 days Christmas challenge. Just supposed to end with. I think next week, yeah, something next week is supposed to encourage you all to leave 2020 a little better than normal. I'm coming for it for 2020, but I'm hoping everything
2021 is starting off on a better foot.
with a bang, with a bang, with a bang.
With a
Budget
bang.
is the first thing on your list for 2021. So make sure you plan on your money. And I don't want all you to plan and say, oh gosh, yes, the year start. I'm going to do my plan. This is what I'm going to do for the year. Blah, blah, blah. And so midway through the year, throw that plan away. Just give me whatever that. Isn't that what they normally do?
Yes. Yep. It
First of
goes.
January. 1st of January, everybody does that. You cannot tell me there's nobody that won't do that. And somewhere during the course of the year, that plan just flunk out.
That's so true. And what I do offer as well, I offer free financial planning sessions. So if you want to, book with me, you just reach out to me and I will schedule an appointment. I do most of my sessions via Zoom. I do facilitate in-person sessions as well.
See all of you know that she gave me it.
If
So
you want to start budgeting, don't worry. I have you. I could help you.
see, you all have no excuses. So you see, we are guiding you guys on the right path.
Yeah.
Plan the business, and then we can do anything else that we want you all to plan the money really and truly put that structure in your money. So you know where you're spending it, we reduce the debt, and we increase the wealth. Bottom line. And put exercise. Don't forget the exercise because we know the importance of health.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions you guys want to ask Amanda? You'll feel free now to ask her. I only seen people join the last minute. All those who joined last minute, you all missed all the lovely tea that was spilling, all these diamonds that was flowing up in here. Don't forget, you all can always look at the replay and get all the lovely information about insurances, pension, talk about life insurance. We talk about what
Critical illness.
we talk about loss of income,
Yes.
insurances, pension, education for the kids, health, critical illness, anything else you forget? Talk about, well, of course, the most important thing, budget.
Budgeted.
Covered everything. So you guys could thank you for who were here. Thank you for those who will listen to the replay, because I know someone will come back and ask a questions. That's not a problem. You all could even. Don't forget, this week is my last week. We're on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So you all will, hope you guys enjoy the holidays. Don't eat too much. Remember, do everything in moderation, right? We want to see you all come 2021. We want to make sure everybody step over into the new year fully well ready to make amends, mash up the place. We're gonna mash up 2021. 2020 was mashed up too, we focus on a different level of 2020. 2020 we focus on a different level. So 2021 we will have that up. Correct. So we thank everybody who were here. Again, we thank Amanda for taking time off, because I know she haven't. Little toddler must be somewhere around just now when I come past and say, "Mommy, where are you?" You know, they can't miss you for 2 seconds.
Yes.
So we want to thank her for taking this time to come and share with us, and thank all who followed us during this entire 2020, especially with our money talks. And we do wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Year. I make up my mind for coming back on next Wednesday, but just in case I change my mind, you all may or may not see me. So after all this from now, Merry Christmas, Happy Year. See you all in 2021, and good night.
Everybody enjoy their Christmas. And thanks again. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, everybody.